Hello there, it's Deborah Mann. You might notice the channel's changed from Masterminds Academy to Collective Coaching. Not because I'm cray-cray, but because someone took my name. Now, they couldn't take my domain, but on YouTube, they've called themselves Masterminds Academy. How rude. How many times have you assumed something about someone else? Let's take social media and the damage that's done and is still doing. Let's say you're a woman, because it hits women, I think, harder when we start to get older. And you look at Instagram, or you look at Facebook, or you look at whatever you're looking at, and you see pictures of people who are probably your age or older looking fabulous. And they're having the time. They're in the Bahamas, and they even write up the Bahamas and blah, 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 blah. And you are like, what? It's not fair. Don't say that. That's what you do. And then you might say, yeah, well, that's fine for them. I have bipolar or borderline. I don't have the money. What am I meant to do? I can't work. And you'll start speaking to yourself, giving yourself every reason why it's not fair, and why should they, subconsciously you'll be thinking, why should they have this and not me? Your mind's excuse for you will be, well, give yourself a break. You have bipolar, or you're borderline, or you have psychosis, whatever you have. Okay, let's look at that. First off, you've heard the saying, firstly, smoke and mirrors. The second thing is, nothing is as it seems. That is never more true than with this scenario in social media. If you've been diagnosed with a mental disorder, which I call them emotional disorders, you are more apt to feel less able to do anything with your life. And that's why this brings me to Patreon. If you join my Patreon page, and this is just an offer to you, I have authored a course on coaching which brings in self-esteem, manifesting your best life. It's fully accredited. If you join Patreon, it's £5.50. I think they turn that to dollars, so it's less a month. I'm teaching it to my patrons, and they are finding massive shifts happening within them, because it's all how the mind is thinking. We have to reprogram this baby that's gone out of whack. It doesn't matter what you've been diagnosed with. It boils down to what you're believing at the moment because of what you're feeling. So the link is down below. Sign up. It's not a lot of money, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. Every week a new tutorial comes out, which people at the moment have to download and pay for. It's a lot more money. How much do you watch on social media? You see, if we have a low sense of self-esteem, which most people do have, and they make up for it in a myriad of ways. Some people make up for it by being over the top, showing off, because they feel they don't have any self-esteem. Now, that sounds crazy, but it's what people do in order to hide the fact that they have low self-esteem, right? They might act out in front of others as if, so they put on like this mask. If you have borderline or bipolar or one of the other personality disorders, you might be wearing a mask. Borderline personality disorder is famously known for wearing masks to cover the insecurities and the feelings of low self. So how do we get rid of that? Because, as I was saying, you watch social media and it just seems everyone in the world is having a really happy time except you. If you can't help yourself and you look at social media, Facebook, start writing down. A lot of us don't like writing. There's a lot of assumption that comes into play, and there's a lot of mistrust that comes into play, and there's a lot of bullshit that doesn't have to be there. Never feel jealous or it's not fair, because when you do that, a strange thing happens. The universe works against you. Make your mind be happy, and if you can't, then write. That gets me to the writing. Write down your affirmations. So what is it that you actually want in your life? I'm sure there's loads of things. What's your biggest want? When you know that, write it down, all right? And from there, start writing every single reason why you can have it. Ignore social media, or just feel great, happy for them. Because your mind is capable of manifesting whatever it is that you want. Again, tried, proven, tested methods. Now, when we're kids, remember, we are subject to our parents' thinking, we're subject to our circumstance, we're subject to our home environment. I mean, you could come from a broken home, you could come from a very wealthy home that was never broken, but did you get much love? And maybe you were always afraid, but that was then. The most important thing is to be here. You're not there, you're here, now. And our memories are malleable. Our minds turn them. So your subconscious mind holds memories, but not exactly as they are. And it's been shown that what we do is at the given time, we move the memory to be either less than it was, intense, or more, depending on what we need. Take somebody who needs someone to care for them. They might tell you a story on their childhood, which is basically true, but they've peppered it with loads of horrifying or stuff that you're like, good God, seriously? Did that happen to you? Because they need you to care. So it's always best to just try and keep it to what it is. What you do, again, as I was saying, writing. Guys, I cannot tell you, something happens between the mind and the gut and the brain when we write with a pen and a piece of paper, not on the computer. So you write down things, write down thoughts of your childhood. So you've seen social media, you've seen the Bahamas and the Seychelles and all these happy, lovely, joyful people that have got yachts in Mauritius, and okay, you've seen all of that, right? Put it aside. Now think of something you want. We all want loads of things. It could be a good pillow, because your pillow is crap and you keep waking up with headaches. Maybe. Pillows, a good pillow is anything from $60 up. So your mind is going to say, you can't afford that. Don't be ridiculous. Your subconscious is going to say, yes, you can, and you will. That's the mind you go with. Okay? You do it. Doesn't matter if you're not wealthy. You could pay it off. So what? Sell some stuff. There's so many ways to do it. But write down what it is that you really want to do. So I'm not giving the coaching method here. I am doing that on Patreon. But this is just something for those of you who are struggling with low self-esteem. Have a look at your childhood, but try and do it in a stoic way, without emotion. Not fed for 3 days. Okay, when did that happen? Can you remember? Then try and think back to, how did that happen? Write it down. And very soon, the truth of your childhood will start coming through. And when that happens, you're able to work on your self-esteem, because you see that I don't have any reason not to feel good about myself. The moment we start comparing ourselves to others is when we hit the downfall. We all need help to reprogram what we've been programmed with, all of us. You need to reprogram what you believe about yourself. And most important is whoever's doing whatever they are doing, that's what they are doing. Force yourself to be happy for them. Your mind's going to give you every reason in the book why it's not fair. Life isn't fair. Life was never fair. What do you think is fair? And that's what you shoot for. Don't compare yourself. It's the worst thing that you can do. And your self-esteem will bounce back when you stop comparing yourselves. You are the master of your kingdom. So I'm sharing information with you from what I've learned, and I apply to my life. All right, my friends, thanks for joining me today. Please look at Patreon. Please sign up and you'll do this course with me, and you'll be fully accredited with the CPD accreditation body afterwards. And I think you'll have a lot of fun, because the people who are doing it on Patreon are finding massive mind shifts that are going on inside, which is brilliant. And that's exactly what we all want. We want to feel better. We want to feel more in control. We don't want to feel beholden to whatever we've been given as a diagnosis. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on Patreon. It's been great. I'm Deborah Mann.